Hello, hi, and welcome to the September farm garden tour for Little Walter's Flower Farm. So we are now heading into fall. A lot of the annual flowers have been tiring out. Those that are perennials are bushing out a little bit more, maybe giving us a second flush of some flowers, but many of them are getting ready to overwinter themselves, which will come sooner than later, but you never know around here. So we could have flowers all the way up until November. It just depends when that frost decides to come. So our front garden here, we still have some Statice that's doing well, another flush of Rudbeckia, some yarrow. A lot of things are coming in shorter. Lots of the yarrow is kind of done. Still have some basil that I've been planting and is growing up, and I still have a bouquet club for the fall, so I definitely still need to have some filler flowers for that. We still have some lavender I think this is a second flush of this lavender. It's still tiny because it's its first year. I grew that from seed, but this front garden area is primarily green. It's green. And that is because everything is just getting ready to go to sleep because it's tired from the summer and from this year. We have a second flush of Lisianthus coming on. The Roseanne Browns haven't done their second flush yet, but those were later anyways. Our marigolds love the fall. They start coming out in the summer, but the marigolds love the fall. And this was the first set of marigolds that I had actually planted. I believe this is the second or third set of marigolds that I planted that is now just starting to bloom, and this has orange and technically it's white, but it's like this creamy yellow color. Our feather celosia, which is popped in different places. So once I get into a certain part of the season, I just pop things where there's spaces. And that's how a lot of our celosia just ends up in different places throughout the garden. I actually cut a lot because I have a pickup of flowers tomorrow. But here's some celosia here. This little feather celosia. We have a bee that is sleeping. Lots of bumblebees sleeping on flowers once we hit the summer and into the fall. We have a pretty robust cinnamon basil area over here. Cardinal basil right here has not flowered yet. There's some straw flower in there. Don't know if that's going to be coming much, but we're looking pretty good. We have birdhouse gourd, which is along that front garden area. This one I actually think, because the area up here is actually dried, I can take it off and finish drying it. I'm going to dry these gourds. I have 4 of them. So I have these 3, and then this one up here. It's actually started to green out again, so I don't know, maybe I'll get some more birdhouse gourds throughout the fall. Who the heck knows? This celosia has just been pumping out flowers all season long, but it loves the heat, and it is very tall. Very, very tall. So we got that. I'm just going to walk around with my little birdhouse gourd. Some of the annuals, like I said, are dying out. This was a Calibrachoa. Can't remember which Calibrachoa, but it's in one of my other videos. And this is a tub, and I like how it spreads and fluffs out. So I like that, and Supertunia Bubblegum Vista I use a lot, but it's come to the season where everything is just so dry that it's really hard to keep them going. This is round 2 zinnias. They're doing okay. These have started to have a little bit of powdery mildew on them. That's okay, it doesn't affect the flowers. I just need to make sure to give them a little bit more airflow. We haven't had any rain in a very long time, so it's not a moisture issue. This is all Telenium or Jewels of Opar that reseeded itself, and I've just transplanted it like I kind of do with the celosia. I pop it wherever I have space. So I actually didn't have to grow this from seed technically in my seed starting trays. It just grew actually in this bed amongst the zinnias, and I just started popping it out. So I've been starting to use that in bouquets. I'll show you this. A bird transplanted this here, but it's really cool. The little pods on the end is what we're looking for it to have the majority of. You don't want it to really have flowers because that makes it floppy, but the pods, once they're all there, are super stiff, and it adds just sparkle into a bouquet. Some mailbox yarrow. This status up here, I've just kind of let it go. I really need to figure out a plan better for this bed next year. I do like the gomphrena here, so the gomphrena might be another thing that I keep here, but this is all now officially died out. Bunny tails grass, which I got tons of that, and frosted explosion. Frosted explosion, I never really have great success with that. So we do have peppers that grow along this trellis. They're doing all right. The afternoon sun is not their favorite, but this is usually where I have cucumbers, some status. Oops, sorry. The finger in the way. Another pepper plant. Here I planted some blue wheat. I was like, let me see if I can get some blue wheat for the fall. Planted it later than I normally would. We're going to see what happens. I really want it for, just waving around my birdhouse gourd, I really want it for dried arrangements. Not status. Strawflower I have a number of plants. Didn't have the best germination this year with strawflower, but I have a number of plants, but it really hasn't been producing that much. But I have been able to put some in bouquets, but I haven't really gotten a lot for drying. I love the sound of it. We are actually going to be hosting a workshop on farm for the first time in October. That is being offered to our bouquet club members first, so that's not public yet, or available for public yet. And we're going to do dried flower pumpkin arrangements and using dried flowers from the farm. Here's an example of me popping sunflowers wherever there was space. This was a bed that had snapdragons in it. And once I took those out, I was just popping things as I was growing them, basically, which is fine. Here's another bee amongst some marigolds. So cute. We have so many different colors of celosia. I really love this one. It produces some pretty cool looking flowers. But I also love, 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 love marigolds. This is 4th succession of zinnias. We'll see how they do, see what we get. And these, I believe, are all purples. I was intentional with doing purples that I wanted for the fall. More Jewels of Opar, Thallium, and another round of status that I had done. Most of it's doing okay. It likes this type of weather. This one, not so much. It produced some stuff and then it kind of was like, nope. This was our first round of status from the spring, really. And it's continued to pump out blooms. I've left it. I think here I will be putting in some larkspur to overwinter, because it will overwinter in our area. So I'm going to direct seed that in the next week or two. So this will be coming out around then. I have a potato for fall potatoes. Need to hill that up, but that one, I think it's only one plant. Only one potato worked out in there, which is fine. Try some things. We have sunflowers all in this bed, this L-shaped Tetris bed, and they have been growing for quite some time. So they are now coming out. So I'm getting my fall flush of sunflowers. A lot of them are the red lemon bicolor, and Pro-Cut Plum. These are all Pro-Cuts. I grow Pro-Cuts. And maybe some Orange Excel, but mostly the red lemons. So this area in particular is coming out. That will be soon. This is the next round that will come out later in the fall, hopefully. Just depends on the frost and how long that will take. I will continue to seed sunflowers until I can seed no more. So as I'm cutting these, their stalks are getting pulled and seeds are going back in. More celosia. They just produce such cool little things. And if I don't end up using them, these all go to dried flowers. These zinnias are doing fantastic. No real disease issues over here. They're slowing down a little bit, but that's to be expected. I love when they does stuff like this. Isn't that cute? Okay. Something that I find very, very interesting. So these are just regular old garden mums. And garden mums, in my experience, because I've had them many of a time, do not turn into full-on hedges. This is one little tiny plant that it was last year is a hedge this year. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Didn't think it was a big deal. Now is a giant hedge. Interesting. Black-eyed Susan's dying out. Apparently a cosmos found its way into this front garden bed. I say it all the time. This bed is a hodgepodge that I still haven't figured out what we really want to do up here. So the mum hedge at least provides some greenery. There are some bearded irises that come up, some gladiolas that come up before this whole hedge situation really happens and takes over. So we are gonna head to the back gardens. I still really love this kind of vision. I did not turn on the fountain. I forgot. I also forgot to mention that the 2 amaranth plants that I grew have been pumping out amaranth the entire season and are still going strong. So I am quite excited about that, and I love them so very much. All right, let's head to the back. Don't look at the blueberries. Don't look at the blueberries. They are not very pretty right now. Dahlias, I don't know if they're going to make the cut next year. I also probably shouldn't have placed them in this spot. It became very slopey this year, and some of their supports cracked and broke. So I need to make a decision whether or not I'm going to do dahlias next year. These actually overwintered. If I do, I will dig these up, move them to a raised bed, overwinter them, and hopefully they will have better support. This one, doing fine. But overwintering them, they come back and they're harder to manage for me. So hard to manage. But when they are a brand new dahlia, very easy for me to manage. They behave very nicely. When they come back, they get attacked by bugs and things, but they are also very unruly. So we're deciding. We still have some blackberries going on. Definitely not picking as much as I was at one point in time. I was sometimes picking up to, 2 pints a day. Now we're kind of at to like maybe a handful a day. But we're still getting some, particularly from this one bush. I'm gonna snag these and take these along with me. Yummo. And they're a little bit smaller too now. They were quite big before. What I am quite proud of is, if this was during the day, you would have seen how glorious this looks when all of these buds of these flowers are open, and it's like pollinator palooza. This is our one loofah plant. one loofah plant, and it is 30 feet long. I think I just saw a bunny. That might be what my dogs have been chasing. We have so many loofahs on here. Way better than last year. This is one plant. Next year I might do two. Don't know. But our loofahs are like 18 to 24 inches. The fence rudbeckia is doing so well. This is what a loofah looks like when we're hoping that it gets pollinated. But this is covered with pollinators all day long. We have the eucalyptus down here. It's actually doing quite well. This is another area where we have mums. They're a little crispy back here. Not sure why. I do also have some lavender back here too. This does get a lot of sun. So it is what it is. But this loofah, oh, so amazing. I'll show you some of the other loofahs that are growing on there. They're growing more on the opposite side of the deck, on the top side of the deck. I still have some parsley that's growing. It stays okay in this little shaded area. As you'll see, these are burnout from the sun, and I can't keep this wet. Like, I try, but it's just not holding water anymore that well. Beans, doing okay. Not as good as my beans up front, and something keeps noshing on them, like at the top. Not sure what, but I really like dilly beans. So dill beans. Ooh, well, oh well. So I'm gonna try to, excuse me, make that. But also I just end up snacking on these as I walk around the garden a lot of times, because there really isn't enough that's being produced. I'm gonna get more as the fall goes on. This is a hodgepodge. It had overwintered dahlias. This bed is also something I need to figure out. I've said in many of the other videos, this whole backyard, aside from a few garden spots, I've really just kind of done my best, did what I could, but the groundhogs, they were a real issue this year, so I didn't really have any high hopes for back here. But we're doing better now, so that's good. This Cresspedia is so cute and so fun, and I put it in bouquets, but I also have a ton for drying, and it's been really awesome, and it's started to produce more now than it did earlier in the season, which is so interesting to me. Carmen peppers, said a billion times, the best sweet pepper. It's a hybrid. I will no longer grow bell peppers. They are doing great. This is one jalapeno plant. Things just got popped in here with this trellis, but my original spots for peppers are all over there. Let's see. Should probably go back here. This little hodgepodge of a tour. We have some, more eucalyptus there. This is an area of status that's one of the first ones. Was more for decoration, less for me to cut on, which was quite nice throughout the season. I believe I will be planting out rudbeckia here to replace the status. There's also daffodils in there as well, so I think that'll be a good, daffodils die out, rudbeckia comes in, yada yada. Here's a growing loofah. It is not as big as the other ones, but it is on its way to be big and ginormous. Got another little one. Ooh, that was a bee. Here, and there's something I think on the other side. Oh, nope, there's one up there. So we are producing. It should have produced more by now, but we are actually still ahead of what we were looking like last year. So I am counting this as a win. This has been the best producing pepper plant. I've gotten so many peppers off of this. It's a Carmen one, but this one has done the best. I've noticed peppers like a little bit of shade, and that is why some of my peppers have been doing really well. Here's our, I think, now 11-foot tall single black strawberry tomato plant that I cannot reach to the top anymore and get the suckers. So it is what it is. And we're just harvesting. I had to get on a ladder today to harvest up there. A gomphrena that I popped in there. Just some stuff along here. Our Romas, determinate Romas, decided to produce a little bit more, so we're just letting them go. I kind of just let my vegetables go. I'm not a vegetable farmer, so I don't have the need to pull things and move to the next crop like some other folks do. I'm a flower farmer, so look at that jalapeno. I'm going to make some cowboy candy this weekend. I just need to get more vinegar. It's been very hard to find vinegar. I'm not a vegetable farmer. I am a flower farmer, so I don't really pull my vegetables like I know a lot of other people do to switch up crops and things like that, and I'm not focused on a fall garden and whatnot. These zinnias are doing okay back here. More decorative, cut on them sometimes. These mostly snacking peppers back here get munched on by I don't know what. Maybe it's that bunny. There's some jalapenos on that one. Haven't really harvested as much off of these back here. I've harvested a lot on the jalapenos, but I'll show you where I harvest a lot of the snacking peppers from. This was a later in the season second succession of tomatoes. They grow a lot slower once you do a second succession of them. I think I planted these in July. Some of them are facing a little burnt leaf situation. The soil dries out so much quicker. You do your best. But we have some celosia around them. Through a big marigold in the center of them. So there's a lot going on in this birdie's bed, round bed, but you can fit so much in these beds. And so one of the things that I'm really excited about is in the future. We do have wood beds right now, but I'd like to have them switched out to these more birdie style metal beds, in particular because when things are drying out very quickly, even though I have mulched and so on and so forth to keep the soil as moist as possible, you can only do your best, right? So I've noticed with the metal beds is they don't leach out the water. So with these, the water will come out through the cracks between the boards sometimes, and I don't like that. But with these, they at least take a while for it to come all the way down if they do even leach out the bottom. It does not come out through any cracks, so the water does sit a little bit more and kind of saturates that dry soil if it is dry, and they do a lot better than the things that are in the wooden beds. So eventually there will be a swap out, and these will last far longer than the wooden. And the wooden bends, and like you can see down here, this has popped out of its connector, all sorts of stuff. So that will be a situation I need to rectify. Sunflowers, again, popping them wherever I pull things. There were gladiolas here, and the gladiolas, they rotted, so they went by. We do have a really cool dahlia that's growing back here. It's not the type of dahlias I typically grow. I typically grow ball dahlias, but I had that one. I had ordered that one because I was like, oh, this is cool. Let me try it. It got eaten so many times by the groundhog, but that one's doing okay. The other two, three, 1, 2, 3, not so much. Gomphrena, I need to come through and do a cut back here. I've been cutting a little bit from it, but this will be a big cut for crafting and stuff. Celosia, there's a lot more empty space back here. I just popped things in. I tried to grow zinnias back here. Something dug up everything. So I really need to figure out how I'm going to manage this bed and this space back here with all of the creatures. It's likely I'm going to have to put an insect covering over it anytime I grow anything here and just keep it on all season to manage pests and stuff. So we'll see. We have a very tall celosia. Oh, can you see? That is a cucumber beetle on here. Get off of there. But they're very tall. I just had some extra scabiosa that it was like, let me try to grow these later in the season and throw these in. And this one's decided to grow marigolds, more marigolds, and celosia. And then here's some more straw flowers that have hardly produced anything, but they're here. They were eaten for like 3 months straight though, so it's not their fault. And more celosia, and my favorite basil, which is cardinal basil. And it smells delicious and is wonderful structure for a bouquet. This is one stem. I can just put one of these in. Anyways, this is a very robust planter of tomatoes. These are a dwarf tomato. I think it's Tiny Tim that's in here. They're not so dwarf that they don't hang over, but they don't really go much further than that. So they do pretty well in a green stalk. We have peonies over here doing okay. Gladiolas over here doing okay. I need to get rid of these daylilies. Our hosta. This sucker is putting out, this has never put out blooms like this. Never ever. So that's kind of cool and fun. Dogs like to eat the hostas, so that might be why. This hosta looks like it has sunburn or some sort of burn on it, which I don't understand because it's not very sunny over here, but it is what it is. Hoselink, not sponsored, but I love Hoselink and it's great. You pull it out, it rolls back in. It's wonderful. It does kink sometimes, which drives me a little batty, but I think that's just because I got a smaller one for my yard. I probably should have gotten a longer one, but if you're looking for a hose, Hoselink is fantastic. Retractable, it's great. Anyways, this is the best pepper plant for the snacking peppers, and this one's actually producing pretty large ones for snacking peppers. There's tiny, there's big ones, there's medium, there's all sorts of different sizes. But these have been so full. And I get like 4 or 5 peppers a day off of them right now. But once all those start to turn, it'll be a whole batch. I cut back Cosmos. They were getting quite big. So I cut them back and they'll give us another really pretty flush and an airy feel for this area. And I think this is the first year I might need to trim our lilac, or next year I will trim our lilac, but it's finally bushy enough. It's about as tall as I really want it to get, and I'm excited for next season and lilac lemonade. If you've never made lilac lemonade, I highly recommend. This tomato plant looks like a disaster. We're just letting it die and finish ripening the tomatoes, but here we are. Here's the big reveal. Look at all of these loofahs. There might be one back there. I think there is. I am so very excited. There's likely tons hiding in here. There's one on this side. Ooh. Oh, big mama. There's another one. That's a new one. There's new ones every day, which is good. This green stalk is dying back. Dwarf cherry tomatoes. It should die back like that because they're done. I just haven't cleaned it out. Big mama in there. A little one there. Another one there. big mama here. There's my hand. Can you see that? Holy moly. Oh, there's one here. And then there's one through there. There's so many. These also did really well. Highly recommend these. They're from Gardener Supply for your decks. Really like them. And then this is what is growing for the spring next year. So these are biennials. We have campanula and Canterbury bells. There's more campanula up here. The seed I think was not the best. It was pelleted and it was from last year. But I got new seed and that did 10 times better. Yarrow, Rudbeckia, that needs to get planted out. This was also old campanula seed, so not a lot germinating in there. Sweet William, snapdragons, honesty and snapdragons, and then more Rudbeckia. So this is all the stuff that I can overwinter, and I really don't have to do much. The only thing I will have to cover potentially will be the snapdragons. So yeah, that is loofah land. And that is it for our tour today. I need to go hill up that potato. I pulled out a bag of soil to go do that. And we'll see you next month. Bye.